Hello, everyone. Good evening. Carl Steinbeck here from San Antonio, Texas, covering day 2 of the Lindsay Clancy murder case in Massachusetts, where she is accused of murdering her 3 young children by strangulation. And we had still on the witness stand her ex-husband, who was the husband at the time this went down, in their home in Massachusetts, and his name's Patrick Clancy. So let's get right to that testimony here. I'm just going to go to the cross-examine portion of it. The beginning of it doesn't have the best sound, so keep that in mind. But here we go.
Yes.
And you recall that went into different rooms and looked at different things, and I think I took some photographs and things of that nature. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, if I may, you met Lindsay back when she was in school, or was she working as a nurse?
She was at the MGH Institute.
And the MGH Institute is like Mass General Hospital nursing program, correct?
Correct.
She had some kind of like an accelerated course or something.
Yeah.
Had double major.
Yeah.
It was very.
I would think a defense attorney on this serious of a case would know specifically the details and not just say that or something along those lines, but
Good student.
She was, yeah.
And she, at a relatively young age, got her RN and was a nurse at Mass General, correct?
Correct.
And at Mass General, she was a, they call it L&D, a labor and delivery nurse, is that it?
Yeah.
Do you remember how many?
on cross-examination, normally you do want to have this yes/no type answer from the witness. You want them to get them to admit what you're trying to get across through your theory of the case, your points of the case. But here, it seems like he should not be doing that. He should be letting the witness draw it, not just answering yes or no questions. You're trying to humanize him more. And by humanizing him more and bringing out more emotions, he's able to bring about more sympathy for his client. That's what I would be trying to do if I was a defense attorney. But so anyway, not sure why he's just going for a normal cross-examination in the beginning here, which is yes/no type responses based on the question.
Years she worked in Mass General?
I think she started in 2014.
Do you remember when she graduated from nursing school?
6 months earlier.
And were you guys in a relationship then? Or
We were, yeah.
and had you started living together in Southie, or was that before that?
Not in Southie. We didn't live together in Southie. We lived together in Quincy.
Quincy. Tell us.
See, he should know this kind of stuff. He's just sort of fumbling through it. Maybe it's going to help get sympathy for Lindsay, because their attorney doesn't really have the nitty-gritty details down pat.
A little bit about, you know, Lindsay, obviously, better than most. How did she like being a nurse?
She loved it. I think it was her dream.
Would you say that she enjoyed her work and helping people?
Definitely, yeah.
So there's been some commentary here from the government about that she was anxious because she had to go back to work, like she didn't want to go to work, she's lazy, or whatever the case may be.
Objection.
This is sustained. If you could rephrase that.
All right, so I'll strike lazy then. That she didn't want to go back to work, but I believe you said in answer to the DA, there was a reason that you could see that she was anxious about going back to work, correct?
Correct.
Now, was she anxious about going back to work, to your knowledge, because she just didn't want to work?
No.
What was the reason?
She struggled to be away from our kids at a young age.
So when you guys ultimately moved to Duxbury, did you have children then?
Yeah.
And as the years went by, you obviously had more children. Ultimately, you got 3 children, correct?
Yes.
You told us about her birth with Cora, and
Yeah.
Cora, it was a bit of a rough birth. Is that right?
Yeah, she didn't have time to get an epidural, and she bled a lot.
Do you, in the years that you lived with Lindsay as boyfriend and girlfriend, fiancés, and then ultimately husband and wife. Do you recognize her handwriting?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but so I'm not sure.
Okay. While counsel's looking at that, is it your understanding, would she take notes or lists and
Yeah,
for work and home and things of that nature?
you would. Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm going to approach you, sir, with this document and just ask if you can recognize the handwriting.
Yeah, that looks like her handwriting.
Looks like Lindsay's handwriting?
Yep.
So I'm going to run the after this.
Any objection?
Yes.
All right, if I could see counsel.
All right. Let me just jump ahead here.
Can you see that, Mr. Clancy?
Yeah.
Sounds not the greatest, but I'll
Pull it away a little
get
bit.
better here.
Looking at this, what does it appear to be to you, if you know? Does it appear to be notes of deliveries that she was involved with?
Yeah.
You see the first one? What's the date, if you can read it? I can't.
It says May 11th, 2015.
And does that indicate, would that, to your knowledge, be around when she started working as a labor delivery nurse?
I thought she started a little early, but I'm not sure.
You see the name of the little girl that was born on that date that was her first delivery?
Yeah,
What's the name?
it's Cora.
And is that the reason you guys named Cora?
It was, yeah.
Can you tell the jurors, as a husband living with Lindsay over the years, what kind of a mother was she?
She was very dedicated. She did everything. She started reading them books at 3 months. And
I just don't understand his approach. Why isn't building up a chronological from their relationship to the time that they had the first child, building up to that, to how she treated the oldest child, to then what happened when she was pregnant with the second child, how she treated that one when it was born, how she was a mother to the two then, and then what led up to the third pregnancy and then delivery, and what it was like raising 3 kids then. I mean, this is something to really expand a whole lot of details on, to show what kind of mother she was, what kind of difficult hardships she had in pregnancies or deliveries, or trying to juggle things with her job, and then also having kids in the house. So there's a lot of good details here that if you jump right to the broad brush, well, how was she as a mother? You're missing a lot of that. So let's see if he circles back at all.
she made up songs for them. I remember she used to make green eggs and ham for Cora because she liked that book.
Is that one of the Dr. Seuss books?
Yeah. She brought them to music classes.
You're quite the musician yourself, isn't that right?
I play a few instruments, yeah.
You play guitar?
Yeah.
In your home, one of the things that appears to be striking is that almost every room, other than maybe a bedroom, but was dedicated to children. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have a fancy dining room, right?
We did not, no.
What did you have in the dining room?
We had the table that I grew up with.
How about stuff on the wall in the different rooms? Did she put things, wall hangings on the walls for the kids?
There was a lot of art projects, stickers, things like that.
You have a baby hanging from the wall?
Yeah.
One of the photographs that the government had was photograph that, excuse me, you can identify first. Is this photograph a fair and accurate depiction of one of your rooms?
Yeah.
And what room would that be?
That's the playroom.
Right off of this room?
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
658.
Thank you.
If I may put exhibit 58 up so the jurors and the zone can see it. There's some kind of like, looks as though it's boxed out window. So are we standing in the kitchen looking into that room through that boxed out window?
Yeah.
And all those objects, obviously, that are in that room would be kids' toys and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Do you recognize this photograph as being just a sample or sampling of the kids' rooms?
Yeah.
You know which room that was?
I think it was Dawson's.
Okay, cut off of this.
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
659.
All right, thank you.
You know, It's a Wonderful Life being on that thing. It's like, that sounds like something Lindsay would have probably put up for the kids. That's not something a father is normally going to be focused on, is like decorating kids' rooms. So I think that shows her heart. She's trying to have a wonderful life for her kids, and how it was something other than her normal state of mind that caused her to do this, something beyond her normal thought processes, to make her go violent like this. Where is this in her past at all? Where is it? I don't think you're going to find anything.
This one here has a bunch of stickers. It's got Bruce Lightyear or whatever his name is over to the right, and it's got an alphabet, A, B, C, D, things of that nature, correct?
It's Paw Patrol.
Okay. And again, following through on that same theme, you recognize this photograph as well being another portion of that wall?
Yeah.
And what are those, decals?
Yeah, they're just big stickers.
Okay. In the interest of time, Your Honor, I would just say, you also identify this as being one of the kids' walls. Would that be what you were telling us would be art projects?
Yeah.
But who's the one that put him up? Who's the one that helped the kid? Was this at school? He's not asking those kind of questions, but even if they were done at school, Lindsay's the one that's putting them up. She's the one probably playing with them in the room and making it cozy for the kids. So I would just bring that out if I was counsel on this one.
And they were hanging on the wall?
Correct.
Who hung them on the wall?
I think Lindsay did.
And would she also take
There you go.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of the kids?
Yeah.
Do you recall her putting together a little collage saying newborn, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then hanging that on the wall?
Yeah, she did it for each kid.
And which child was that?
That one's Dawson.
Dawson. Did you have occasion to see her interact?
I think it's a good point he's raising here, showing those pictures of every month that she put up on the wall, because that shows that everything about the children was precious, their growth, how they changed from month to month, and their looks, their personalities. And she did that for each child. So it's a very, very good thing to show she was a loving and caring mother. So what happened? What suddenly changed where she became a completely different person?
With Dawson as
Greg, did you wish to introduce those photographs?
Thank you, I appreciate it. Please do it.
60 and 61.
Okay, thank you.
Can you describe for the jurors her relationship with Dawson? I know he was a little kid, but I mean, to your observation, did she love Dawson?
She loved Dawson very much.
Did she resent him?
No.
You are familiar with, as her husband, Lindsay's, let's say, use of social media, such as Facebook, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us, would you look at her Facebook a lot and the pictures that she would post?
To be honest, no, not really.
Okay. Were you able to identify any of her postings on Facebook?
Probably.
Okay. Representative over the years, or the period of time, I'm going to ask if you can identify this particular Facebook.
Your Honor, if we may approach briefly.
Sure, yeah, Counsel.
Okay, prosecution is objecting because it's not his Facebook, apparently, but jumping ahead here. With a long trial like this, it's going to come in one or the other, so I don't know why prosecutor needs to object. And keep in mind, this is Massachusetts, so they don't need to state the reasons for the objection in front of the jury. They can go up and have the sidebar and then give specifics on what they're objecting to. Sort of snag here. The city has some blow-ups like this of photos of different things the jury can see. I'm trying.
3 through 75.
Mr. Clancy, and if I ask a question and it's difficult, or if you need a break, I'm sure that, Mr. Motors will certainly give you a break.
Yep.
If I push too hard, just let me know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, so again, just representative of the Facebook postings that Lindsay would post as the mother of your children. This, for example, would be July of 2018.
Yep.
Can you tell the jurors who that would be?
That's Cora.
Moving forward, say June of 2021. Can you tell us who that?
That's Cora and Dawson.
Okay.
Can you tell us? I think a better question would be, tell us who this is. When was this taken? That kind of stuff. Humanize the photo more.
Again, the end of July 2021.
That's us with Cora and Dawson.
August 2021.
Dawson.
Okay. End of August 2021.
It's Cora and Dawson.
August again of 21.
It's Cora and Dawson.
Is he going to tie those in with her being a good mother? She's the one that took the photos. She was the one that was playing the event that day for each of those photos.
Number 1 of 21.
It's Cora and Dawson.
Is that first day of preschool?
There you can see what she's saying. Look at this. I'm so proud of the beautiful, confident, independent little people that they are becoming, and I'm so excited for all they will learn and do in school this year. Okay, so there you go. That's a real great thing to show. But the witness is not talking about it, and the attorney's not asking about those kind of comments. But the jury will see it because it's going to be admitted into evidence.
School.
Yeah.
September of 21.
That's Lindsay and Cora.
And was that some kind of like?
Okay. Look at this nice thing that Lindsay wrote.
September of 21.
No better feeling in this world than having a daughter. Wow, look at that with a heart emoji with a heart around a smiley face. National Daughter Day. There's a picture of her hugging her daughter. I don't think anything the prosecution does is going to be able to indicate she was a bad mother up until the time she had this mental breakdown.
That's Lindsay and Cora.
And was that some kind of like a family fun day, if you recall, where there was like lots of things for kids to get in?
Yeah.
The end of September 21. Calendar.
Yea, Son's Day, the love between a mother and a son is indescribable. How unbelievably blessed I am to call this the most handsome boy, my son. Yeah, that's an awesome mom here. She was an awesome mom before this mental crisis kicked in.
That's Dawson.
Dawson, okay, September 21. Callan was born when? Sorry.
May 2022.
Okay. And Christmas Eve, December 24th of 2021.
That's Cora's birthday.
Happiest fourth birthday to the sweetest gift God ever gave me. She's growing into the most perfect version of herself, and I couldn't love her more, with a bunch of hearts and balloons and present type emojis. Best girl ever. This is a very doting mom, loving mom here in this that's been presented on. This was December 24th of 21.
Okay, and that's her birthday party that year?
Yeah.
Now that's 2021, right?
Correct.
Fast forward 1 year, and that would be Christmas of 2022, right?
Right.
And was that when you guys had the birthday party for Cora at the trampolines?
No,
When was that?
I believe it was January 7th.
Okay, but that would have been for that particular birthday, right?
That was for the birthday with friends because most people weren't available on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, right?
Yep.
And then down. Again, September 1st of 22. Remember when that was taken?
Yeah, that's with Callan and Dawson.
Says me and my boys with a blue heart. September 1st of 22. Look at her smiling there. This is about the time in September when she was starting to have this psychosis kick in and started getting on those psych meds.
Was that your yard?
That's in the backyard.
Backyard, okay. This would have been September of 22, obviously right before 23, right?
Right.
And again, for this one here, July of 22, can you tell me, Ferris, you guys had a pretty good summer that year?
It was a good summer. Yeah, that was on Cape Cod.
This picture was on Cape Cod?
Family with a heart.
A couple of points that I wanted to raise, sir, with you. We have an email sent from is it Surface Pro? Is that what it's called?
That was my laptop. Yeah.
I'm going to approach you, sir, and ask if you can identify this as being an email that you sent.
Yeah.
Okay. Right off of that, Your Honor.
The objection.
I'd just like to know the purpose of.
Purpose? I'll tell
Yes.
you the purpose.
No,
We could approach sidebar.
sure, yeah.
So that's something a elder statesman attorney can get away with and not get scolded by the judge. Let's go back. She goes, I don't understand the purpose. He goes, I'll tell you the purpose. So technically, attorneys are not supposed to talk to each other like that on an objection, but
I'd just like to know the purpose of.
Purpose? I'll tell you
Yes.
the purpose.
No,
We could approach sidebar.
sure, yeah.
all right. prosecutor doesn't want any more of those coming in, showing what a loving mother she is, apparently. It's cumulative, probably. So let's see what Reddington does here. Yeah, she's wearing glasses now. That's the first time we've seen
While
her.
we're waiting for the copy, let me just move on to something else. Do you recall yesterday the district attorney was asking you a question or stated to you that on December 2nd of 2022, that you and your wife went to a fancy hotel in Boston and she had a massage and you both had a big dinner? Do you recall her asking you that question?
Yeah.
And in fact, would you agree, sir, that you did not, in fact, go to a fancy hotel on December 2nd of 22, being a Saturday night before your anniversary, the 3rd? You stayed at home, didn't you?
We did. We stayed at home.
And when you were asked that question by the DA, she wanted the inference to be that Lindsay Clancy in December of 22 was so relaxed that she wanted to have a massage and have a big dinner in a hotel. In fact, she was in her bed, in her bedroom that night, wasn't she?
Objection.
Sustain, if you could rephrase that.
I'm approaching you with what appears to be from
We're having a sidebar.
one of the photographs that the district attorney had showed you yesterday with her in a mask. And I believe the Dachshund in the mask. Right? And then.
COVID wasn't over.
Now that photograph, sir, was actually preserved, if you will, on the Laptop Pro computer. Is that right? Did she send that to you?
She sent it to my computer.
Okay.
I don't know.
And where was she? Do you remember when that picture was taken? Let me
I
just show you.
didn't see
Yeah. That's what the photograph was.
It looks like they're at the doctor.
At the doctor's office, okay. And can you tell me the date that that picture, right-hand corner top, what date was that picture taken? Sent to your computer?
It's December 2nd.
The same date that we're talking about, correct? And what
Correct.
time was the picture sent?
12:45 p.m.
Okay. So the jury. So when you're dealing with these things on the computers, it's a little hard sometimes to understand what they're depicting, and I'm having a hard time moving it. There it is. All right. Right there, you see that there? That's the date that we're talking about, right?
Right. Just to clarify, though, it looks like that was on an iPhone.
Oh, I'm sorry, iPhone. Okay, it was sent to you, though.
Correct.
And it was on December 2nd, the date that the DA was suggesting you were in Boston having massages and dinner, right?
Objection. That was December 3rd.
It's
Well.
the jury's memory, but.
Yeah, if you can answer that.
Do you recall, sir, that she also had sent you the same day or taken a picture of what appears to be Cora's Christmas list, wish list? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at the record on that, that was sent if you can read that,
It's December 2nd at 6:13 p.m.
6:13 p.m. And then finally, if you look at the metadata that is apparently buried in the photograph, it gives latitude and longitude of where the photograph was taken. Is that right? You're familiar with metadata, I would imagine. No way I can't do this.
Use tape. Use tape. The tape on the thing tells you where to put the.
Here is the
Thank you.
Yeah, that's our address.
Okay.
Show them how to.
And that would be the metadata with the latitude and the longitude.
I think that court reporter there was whispering to him how to get this shown on the big screen, the projector.
It shows you where these photos were taken, correct?
Correct.
And after these, Ron?
So I think we had Exhibit 76. They're making a copy of that. Do you want to mark that? I don't know if we marked that yet. That was the earlier one, just so everybody can keep this straight. And this latest email would be Exhibit 77.
That would be the letter, the email?
That was just copied.
Yeah, the email right here. Yep. Yes.
76 and 77.
Okay.
They're trying to get the numbers of the exhibits down correctly.
Now, sir, Exhibit 76 is an email from you to, and we will going to delete the people that are on the email, if I may, Your Honor, as we mark it as an exhibit. Let me approach you. Does it indicate the date and the time? At the very top, you sent that email to your staff.
At 5:24.
And that was sent from your Surface Pro?
I don't know, actually. It could have been sent from my iPhone.
Right off of this one. So there you go.
That would be Exhibit 76.
Now, when was Callan born?
May 26, 2022.
My memory serves that it was
Yeah, we felt very lucky.
and then in that summer of 22, you had one of the best summers that you've had, right?
Yeah.
What happened in September, October of 2022?
Lindsay's mental health started to deteriorate.
And when you say that, sir, what is it that you, as her husband, observed?
Just increased stress and anxiety.
And did she, as a result of that, go to see or reach out for help to see someone?
Yes.
And who was that?
I believe it was Jennifer Tufts.
Now, Jennifer Tufts is a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And where is she located?
I never went to her office. Somewhere on the South Shore.
Do you remember when Lindsay went to see Jennifer Tufts?
I don't remember the exact date. I think it was sometime in September. I wasn't really involved at the beginning of Jennifer Tufts.
Of course. Do you recall that the difficulties or the trouble, so to speak, began towards the end of September into October of 22?
Yeah, it was pretty gradual.
Okay. But do you remember when the DA asked you yesterday whether or not you used your computer to Google suicide in, I think it was August of 22? Do you remember her asking you that question?
Yes.
And do you remember your response?
No, honestly.
You didn't Google that, did you?
I don't think I did, no.
No. But I'm going to show you, sir, a web history of your computer. Have in mind that the question was asked of you as to whether or not in August of 22, you Googled suicide. You responded no, right?
Correct.
The inference being, I guess, that back in August of 22, she would have Googled it, apparently, right?
Sure.
You know a guy named Tim Hall?
I think you mean Tom Hall.
Yeah, Tom Hall, I apologize. Who's Tom Hall?
He's a musical artist,
He's a what artist?
like a country artist.
Country. Is he like a guitar playing guy or singer?
Yeah. Was.
When you say was, what happened to him?
He committed suicide.
And I'm going to show you, sir, your Surface Pro records back in August of 22. Do you recall Googling the name Tom Hall so you could access one of his new albums or new records?
I do remember briefly listening to Tom Hall's music.
Okay. Now, you've never seen, you haven't seen this document before, correct?
Correct.
All right, and this would be, I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. When you get a phone dump or a computer records dump, you get a printout of all the sites that somebody would go on, Google, Wikipedia, things like that.
Right.
If you can look to the right.
Yep.
Down a little bit, and you see, I think it says Tom Hall.
Yeah.
What does it say on Tom Hall?
It says his Wikipedia page.
Yep. Let me see here. So here we've got so that shows you when somebody Googles and then it goes Wikipedia. And you see where up above it says suicide methods?
Yeah.
Now, you didn't, as you said to the DA, you didn't Google suicide methods, right?
I didn't Google suicide methods now.
But in fact, sir, when you Googled Tom Hall, it took you to the Wikipedia page and it said that he died, right?
He did, yeah.
And then you clicked on the Wikipedia page and it went into a hyperlink. You know what a hyperlink is? I imagine you
Yeah.
do. Hyperlink.
Yeah.
What is a hyperlink, just so I know?
So like in Wikipedia, it would be a word that's highlighted in blue and it goes to a website.
Okay. So if I suggest to you, sir, that as you move down on your searches that afternoon, that you were looking at Tom Hall, that it brought you to ways to commit suicide, Tom Hall, Google search again, Tom Hall, all on that date at the same time. And you were just looking to see about the guy because he killed himself, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right off of this.
Any objection?
Can I just see the packet?
Oh, yeah.
Again, Your Honor, I got that discovery from the DA, so it's.
Well, it's an email from his
We'll just
expert, not us.
just take a look at it and we'll kind of go from there. Hold on a second.
Like it's sort of getting bogged down here, defense.
While she's looking at that, I just asked her, what is a URL? What does that
Hold on,
mean?
hold on a second. Just,
right.
wait till she gets a chance to finish.
Yes, I would object.
If I can see counsel.
Right. Let me jump ahead.
Would at least refresh your.
All right, here we go.
So while that's being marked Exhibit E for ID, basically that would at least refresh your memory, sir, that in fact, inadvertently, that you touched the Wikipedia thing for suicide, but it was for Tom Hall, the singer, right?
Sounds like that was the case.
Okay. Do you recall what medication Lindsay was put on by Dr. Tufts?
She started with Zoloft.
Now, counsel had asked you about whether or not Lindsay was on Zoloft or any SSRI antidepressant medication in the past. Do you remember that question?
Yeah.
Do you remember her asking about that you were having a conversation with her and she said that she was going on Zoloft and that she had already been to Tufts, or was it Tufts that she got the script from?
Correct.
Okay. She told you that, right?
Yeah.
She didn't hide that from you, right?
No.
And you were at a wedding. Is that right? You were walking down the street, the two of you together, like at the end of the night. She basically told you that she had to use the meds.
It was earlier in the day. It was before the wedding, but yeah.
Okay. And do you recall how, to your observation, how dedicated was she to taking her medications as instructed by the numerous doctors that she ultimately saw?
She always took them as instructed.
Okay, so here he goes from what's the first medication she was on to all of a sudden he's jumping into all the meds collectively without building up to all the different ones she was on. So not sure why the disconnect there.
Do you remember, did she in fact have a diary that she kept of the milligrams, the type of medication, the date that she took the medication, and what, if any, reactions that she had to it? Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And do you remember where that was kept? Did she keep it in any particular place?
I think she kept it in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. So I'm going to show you a photograph that the state police took in your house. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of your kitchen?
Yeah.
So that kind of shows a bunch of books that are in like a cabinet or something, right?
Right.
I'm going to show you this enlarged spine, if you will, of a book. I ask if you ever saw that before.
I don't recall seeing this.
Would you agree, sir, that this book is in fact the same book, the same coloring that was in the bunch of books in the kitchen?
Yeah.
And on this book, you see what the caption of the book is.
Yeah, it says good moms have scary thoughts.
And I'm going to approach you with this document, sir, which would be,
That shows that something was taken over her mind. She's not operating with a free will. So these intrusive thoughts are what happens when you have psychosis and postpartum psychosis. Apparently can also be the main trigger for this.
a number of pages from the
Besides the different meds she's on, including things that are really strong like Seroquel and other drugs that are known as a side effect to cause suicidal thoughts and ideations and actual attempts, successful efforts. But they don't really put that in the label, do they? None of these drugs say anything about suicidal thoughts or ideations. They never talk about murder of others or likely murder of yourself, suicide.
book, the cover of the book.
But either way, extreme violence is a side effect of various numbers of these types of drugs.
And the inside of the book. Just, you've never seen that before, though?
Don't recall seeing this.
So maybe that was a book that one of the therapists recommended her get. Maybe that's something she found on Amazon. In any case, it looks like she is trying to get back to normal. I think the jury's picking up on it.
So with that understanding, Your Honor, I will not offer this at this time.
Hold on, Counsel, come up. If you could, Mr. Redick, if you could show
not.
what it is that you.
I'm sorry, you said you're not offering it?
Oh, don't have the foundation, he says.
Okay.
Any objection?
No,
Okay.
So can I put it in?
Yes. that's
Oh,
fine.
okay, great, thank you.
no objection to him not offering it.
All right.
If I could just look at it,
Yeah.
there may
Well,
not.
why don't we do this? Why does everybody come over here with that? We can kind of figure out where we go.
All right. Not really prepped there. Sometimes attorneys, they'll show to the other opposing counsel what they're trying to go up to the witness to show them. Apparently they're not doing that here.
Who was the next doctor, if you recall, that Lindsay went to consult with?
Julie Paul.
And is this a doctor or a nurse practitioner?
I don't remember with Julie Paul. It was very brief.
Okay. Now, is it fair to say that Julie Paul was at South Shore?
Yeah, correct.
And Julie Paul was a friend of your mother's, is that right?
Yeah, I think they're acquaintances. Yeah,
And your mother was a nurse also at South Shore Hospital.
in L&D. Yeah,
L&D Labor and Delivery, same thing. Okay. And your mother was good enough to refer Lindsay to this person to consult with, right?
yeah. I don't think it was a formal referral. I think she just said this is a specialist that you might want to talk with.
All right. And did she go to see the specialist?
Yeah.
And did you go with her, or was this a?
No, I never met
Should
Julie
talk
Paul.
myself up. Were these like in-person meetings, or are they like what do you call them, Zoom meetings? And
Most of the meetings were Zoom. The only in person that I'm aware of was with Rebecca Gelata.
Rebecca Gelata. Okay, and that was because you insisted on it, right?
I thought it was warranted at that time. Yeah.
Right, because you were pretty much at your wit's end with the 15-minute Zooms, and you wanted to sit down eyeball to eyeball and talk to this person, right?
I hadn't attended any prior to that. I just wanted to get clarification. I wanted to see if we could get on the same page.
All right. So now Lindsay's on Zoloft from Dr. Tufts, the psychiatrist, correct?
Correct.
And then that runs into when she goes to see Nurse Paul.
Can you clarify?
What was it?
Can you clarify what you're asking?
Yeah, what month? When was it that she saw Nurse Paul?
Maybe
Saw Dr. Tufts, I guess, in September then.
Saw Nurse Paul. Do you remember where she saw Nurse Paul, or was it a video thing?
I don't know. I wasn't involved.
Okay. Did Nurse Paul prescribe medication to her?
A lot if he knows.
I don't know off the top of my head.
All right. Do you recall whether or not, to your opinion, that she had any reactions to the Zoloft that she had been placed on by Dr. Tufts?
I don't know any observations that were made.
Right. So it's not guesswork. It's observations. Anything you saw and observed.
Yeah, it seemed to align with her insomnia symptoms.
Now, the insomnia, inability to sleep, was that a significant problem from your observations with her?
Yeah, it was a huge problem.
Okay. What I would have liked to have seen is what happened on the Zoloft that wasn't working out for Lindsay that made her switch providers and go with somebody else. What was her symptoms? How was she the first week, second week, third week? What was her day like? So we sort of broad brush it, and I think that's not as effective here, but
And when you say a huge problem, was there one point when she was on medication from Tufts that in fact she had gone 48 hours, I think, without sleep?
Yeah.
And that was disturbing to her?
Yeah, and it was just hard to function.
And how about you? Was it disturbing to you?
I just wanted her to get sleep and feel better.
Now, during that period of time, she then went and saw the next doctor, a nurse practitioner, which we talked about, which would be nurse practitioner Paul at South Shore, right?
Right.
Now, after seeing nurse practitioner Paul, if you remember, or no, did you observe, did she seem to get better or did she seem to get worse?
It would be hard to say. I think it was a week at most. So it's really hard to say in that short a time frame.
Sure. And when you say a week at most, you mean that's like she was seeing nurse practitioner Paul for about a week?
Yeah, and I mean, she may have only seen her once. It was very brief, and then she got reassigned somewhere. So,
and the reason, if you know, that she got reassigned somewhere would be nurse practitioner Gelata, right?
Right.
Same practice, right?
Right.
And the reason was because Paul moved on to another job, right?
Right.
So Lindsay wasn't out doctor hunting. She was referred by the nurse practitioner that was referred to you guys by your mom because Paul was leaving, right?
Yeah, she just switched doctors in the same practice.
All right. Now she sees Dr. Gelata, right?
Right.
Did Dr. Gelata, to your knowledge, put her on medication?
Yeah.
And what was the medication, if you know?
Mainly Seroquel and benzodiazepines, Advan.
No, benzodiazepines. They're addictive, right?
Apparently.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
And a benzo would be, for example, Ativan, correct?
Correct.
Now, Seroquel, she was placed on Seroquel as well. Is that correct?
Right.
And to your observation, again, you're not a doctor, what you saw of your wife, was she affected positively or negatively by the Seroquel that she was on?
it appeared that she was affected very negatively, and she's reporting that that she was getting worse on the Seroquel.
And do you know, did she report that to Dr. Gelada?
Yeah.
When she would consult with Dr. Gelada, prior to you actually going, do you know, were they all on video? If you know.
I believe, yeah, they were all on Zoom.
Okay. Do you have any opinion for the jury as to approximately how long these meetings on Zoom would be with the nurse practitioner?
Probably around 20 minutes.
At some point, do you recall that you went with Lindsay to see Dr. Gelada? Is that right?
Yes.
And do you remember, if you remember, when that was?
Early December.
In early December of 2022, can you tell the jury from your observations, how did Lindsay appear? How was she acting? How was she faring?
She was extremely sleep deprived and just highly anxious.
Was there a number of occasions that you would actually see her on the sofa, rocking back and forth with her head under a pillow?
Yeah.
Did you report that and other symptoms to Dr. Gelada?
Lindsay did.
So when was it, if you recall, that you went and saw Dr. Gelada with your wife, person to person?
When was it?
Yep.
Early December. I think it was December 6th.
And do you remember, you have a pretty good memory about this, do you remember what medication she was prescribed by Gelada?
Coming out of that meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, she increased the Seroquel significantly. And then she prescribed her Valium to help taper off of the benzos.
Taper off the benzos?
Yeah.
To your knowledge, did Lindsay go to doctors to seek out benzodiazepines or drugs just because she was a drug addict?
No. Lindsay, I think, wanted to, she definitely didn't want to take any more benzodiazepines and definitely didn't want to take any more Seroquel. I think that it wasn't really a matter of trying to get off the medication. It was just trying to get on the right medication.
Okay. Let's say mid-December, what observations, if any, heading up towards Christmas, did you guys endure?
She seemed to get worse. The Seroquel was increased to 400 milligrams.
400?
Yep. And,
By Dr. Gelada?
Yeah. And the idea behind that was it would help with sleep, but she didn't get better. She got worse.
Do you recall that at one point she went to a place called Women's and Infants
Yeah.
in Rhode Island?
Right.
Women and Infants Center for Women's Behavioral Health. Do you recall that?
Right.
Do you remember when she actually went to Women's Behavioral Health?
Sometime in mid-December. I don't know the exact date.
All right. So if I suggest to you, sir, that I have certified copies of the Women and Infants medical records indicating that on December 20th of 2022, that was the day that you dropped her off at Women. Does that refresh your memory?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer the certified copies of the Women and Infants hospital records.
Would object, we don't have a copy of those.
All right.
You don't have these?
Could I see everybody here?
It's about an hour and 15 minutes away if you're going to central part of Rhode Island from Boston. All right, so they're showing some more details that initially they're not sleeping well, to include not sleeping for 48 hours. That's a really significant factor. Shows how bad she was responding and basically spiraling downhill. They have to increase it to 400 milligrams. Another thing, it was harder for the medical staff to really truly evaluate her. I think when this is all done via Zoom and you're just having a 20-minute Zoom call, as he was saying. So it's hard to monitor, much harder to monitor, I think, a patient and their effects from the drugs when they're not there in person. You can't really get a read on them as well.
So, Mr. Clancy, do you remember that day, December 20th of 2022, that she
Yeah.
went to that place? How did she get there?
I drove her.
And do you remember dropping her off?
Yeah.
Do you remember what her state of mind was to go there? Was she scared? Was she happy? Do
I think she was scared.
you remember what you did that day?
I took Dawson skiing.
Why was she scared, though? Was she scared because she felt like she was going to some place that even they couldn't help her? I would be curious to know, why was she scared?
And where did you go skiing?
What she said.
At some point in the afternoon.
So I'm not hearing where they went skiing, though, but apparently some ski park not too far away from there, I imagine. If it's just an early afternoon drop off, they got to come back later in the day and get Lindsay.
Did you receive a phone call?
Yeah.
Was it from Lindsay?
Yeah.
And as a result of the phone call, what did you do?
She said that you need to come pick me up, and the doctors here want to talk to you. Have you come in and talk for a bit?
Okay. Did you go and talk to him?
Yeah.
Do you remember who you talked to?
I don't remember their names.
Do you remember the conversation? Did you describe or indicate what her symptoms were at that point in December 20th of 2022?
Yeah, the conversation was they didn't.
Objection.
Yes.
Sustained at this time.
Did the people at Women's and Infants Facility in Rhode Island prescribe any medication to your knowledge?
I don't think so.
They provide any counseling or anything?
I think they tried to, but they felt that it wasn't the right fit for Lindsay.
Do you recall that in fact it was because of the drugs? They weren't sure what symptomology would be because of the drugs?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you recall whether or not the people at Women and Infants in Rhode Island reached out to Dr. Gelada?
Objection.
I don't think
Well,
so.
if he knows.
I don't think they did. No.
And was it one day or half a day that she went to Women and Infants in Rhode Island?
It was like half a day.
Half a day. So after you pick her up and you bring her home, it's now you and the kids and Lindsay, and it's days before Christmas, right?
Yeah, and her parents were there.
Why were her parents there?
They were visiting, trying to help out, and I took Dawson to Wachusett, so they stayed home with Cora and Kellen.
All right, so I'm just still thinking on this issue of him dropping off Lindsay to the doctors. He's got one of their children with him to go off to go skiing. So apparently he's still trying to find other things to be a good father to the boy. And he's leaving his wife there, though, and not fully able to track what's going on with the wife. So he maybe doesn't know how to handle it. He's just trusting the medical care system, the system to take care of her. So I just thought it was odd that he would leave her there, but don't know what's going through his mind. Maybe he felt like he didn't emotionally have the bandwidth to be able to deal with this horrific depression and psychosis that's she's going in and out of.
Now, during that time frame in December of 22, maybe a little bit before, maybe after Thanksgiving, did your mom and dad and Lindsay's parents come to your house and try to help out with the kids?
Yeah, I think it was separately though.
Yeah, of course it would be separate. I mean, what would they do?
Just be there, help out, play with them, get takeout, play Scrabble.
Did Lindsay's mother and father actually stay there and sleep in the basement for
They did, yeah.
time? Were you aware personally? Let me back up. You and Lindsay, as husband and wife, would in effect sleep in the same bedroom. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There was an occasion, though, that she said to you about you go downstairs, and then I think she ended up downstairs.
Yeah, for the purposes of her getting better sleep.
And for her purposes of getting better sleep, were you aware that on one occasion she used a gummy, a sleep aid gummy? Did you know that?
I don't recall that, but we did have them in the house.
Okay. Now, to your knowledge, was Lindsay a person that liked to smoke the weed and use the CBDs, oils, and all that stuff, or did she not imbibe in
I
that?
don't know. She didn't smoke.
So you had these gummies in the house, sleep aid, right?
I mean, some people might call them a sleep aid.
Okay. Heading into the holidays of 22, do you recall where you spent Christmas?
I think it was at our house. We celebrated Cora's birthday. And then I think we actually went down to Wallingford, Connecticut to be with her parents after.
Her parents?
Yeah.
Okay. And then heading into January of 23, who did she then see for doctors or nurse practitioners, if you know?
After she got back from McLean,
Yes.
she switched back to Jennifer Tufts.
Now, before she switches back to Tufts in January, on New Year's of 2022, 2023, you guys drive to Boston, go to MGH, and ultimately she turns herself into McLean Hospital, right?
Right.
Now, McLean Hospital is basically a locked ward facility, correct?
Correct.
Was she allowed to just wander around and leave the place whenever she wanted?
She couldn't leave, but
Couldn't leave.
inside she could go to different areas.
Can you tell the jury what her state of mind was as she went to McLean Hospital with her husband on New Year's of 23 at that point?
She was scared. She didn't want to go. But I think it was the second time we went to the ER, and I said, you have to go.
Now at McLean Hospital, I know you
Brent Perkins is saying, how do you rate the skill of this defense attorney? He seems rambling and confused and imprecise, and his questions do not form a followable storyline. Yeah, it could be a tighter line of questioning, but I think given his age, he comes across as like an elder statesman attorney type. And so a lot of his lack of precision can be forgivable, I think. So I don't think it's hurt him too bad. Just wish you would build up more of how miserable it was from what he observed. Lindsay dealing with all this kind of stuff. I don't think we're getting anywhere close to the number of details I'd like to see.
Visited with her, is that
Yeah.
correct? District Attorney asked you yesterday about the excellent care that she was provided to all these counselors and therapists, and you indicated that it was your understanding that she was playing with clay and coloring, right?
Right.
Can you describe for the jury what McLean was like to you as a husband visiting his wife? In other words, were there doctors, were there nurses, were there people in the hallways?
What I saw was it looked like mainly nurses. It was the tail end of COVID, so they were mostly behind this plastic covered area. And it could have been just the time of day that I visited, but people were hanging around, watching TV, playing with clay.
Do you know whether or not she saw a doctor, a psychiatrist, ultimately from McLean Hospital?
I was not aware of that. The only one I was aware of it was the doctor on the second to last or final day.
And what was that, Dr. Goodhart?
Yeah.
And did you speak to Dr. Goodhart?
I ended up calling her.
Let's call her.
I wanted to see what her evaluation was. So I gave her a call and we spoke, and she said, she's clearly depressed.
Sustained.
Okay. So you spoke to Dr. Goodhart. Did Dr. Goodhart, to your knowledge, prescribe any medication?
I think she recommended medication, and then
How many medications did she recommend?
I don't know if she recommended multiple. I want to say it was Cymbalta, but she said, check with your doctor and make a decision.
So when Lindsay left, it was because she wanted to leave one day early because of Cora's birthday. Is that right?
I don't think it was one day early. I think she had a 5-day stay, which at the time was my understanding was that was pretty standard. And yeah, she did want to attend Cora's birthday.
So there's no doubt, sir, in your mind that when she was discharged from McLean, that you got these, right? McLean?
Yes.
Yeah. That when she was discharged from McLean Hospital, it was not against medical advice. The doctors gave her bill of health and let her go with you, right?
Right.
Or off of the McLean records.
Any objection?
No.
All right, they may be admitted.
Now, you know when you go to the hospital and you get out of the hospital, they give you a bag and you've got medications and a little card and says, thank you for being here, stuff like that. Did you guys get anything from McLean at all?
I don't think so.
Did you get any recommendations other than the doctor suggesting that you might want to try Cymbalta? Did they give you a script?
I don't think so.
You know what Cymbalta was?
No.
You remember Dr. Goodhart telling Lindsay to Google it?
I think that's accurate.
Yeah. In fact, she Googled hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Medication, right?
Yeah.
So when you guys go home, and now it's January, obviously, you had the party for Cora, correct?
Yeah.
You guys had friends over, or friends that you guys knew?
Friends came to the party, which was at a place in Plymouth.
Would you agree with me that Lindsay had a number of friends from actually grammar school through high school through college that she stayed in touch with over the years?
Yeah.
And you as well?
Yep.
And they're good friends. Like you still would see them and you guys would do dinner and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Actually, one of your friends, I think it was one of your friends, it might have been one of her friends, actually named her in January or around that time frame to be godmother or take care of their child if anything bad happened to them and they were dead, right? Remember that?
My brain has been foggy for the last couple of years, but
I understand.
yeah.
Okay. In January, as time went by, do you recall that she would actually continue to take notes of her medications that she was taking, right?
That sounds like something Lindsay would do.
Kept a diary or a little log, right?
Yep.
I'm approaching you, sir, with this and asking if you can identify this. Anyway.
Yes.
And when you say yes, and I'll put it on a little screen, what is it?
It's the dosage of medication that she took and how she's feeling.
So this is kind of like a little medical diary that she was keeping.
Yeah.
For example, here you see on that 5 milligrams Valium, 200 Seroquel, slept well, horrible thoughts, in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And did she at some point, I think the DA had asked you, I'm going to offer this, Your Honor, if I may?
Any objection?
No.
That may be admitted.
Okay.
Thank you.
So there she had horrible thoughts at 5 milligrams. And later on, they were saying she's on 400 milligrams. So she was having intrusive thoughts just at 5 and they upped it to 400. How's that possible?
There was an occasion where she told you in the presence of her mother that she was having horrible thoughts, right?
Right.
And you told us about that yesterday. And it was quite an emotional thing for her to do that, right?
Right.
After that time frame, you continued on. You were working in the basement, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say basement. It was a finished place, right?
Finished basement, yeah.
And that was where you worked on a regular basis. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would that be a 40-hour week or longer?
It varied, but yeah, roughly 40 hours.
And I know it was maybe COVID, tail end of COVID, but one of the other reasons that you did that was so you could be home and help out. Is that right?
Yeah, I worked from home since 2018.
Okay.
But yeah, I built an office down there.
So you were always there.
Yeah.
Not always, but you were down there when you would work.
When I wasn't traveling, yeah, I was there.
Okay. So when would you travel? Tell us about that.
I really didn't travel actually much during COVID, just towards the end and once in November
November of what year?
2022.
November of 2022.
But before that, I traveled extensively.
But let's look at November of 2022. November of 2022 was a month before she was telling you and her mother that she was having thoughts about hurting children, right?
Right.
It's November of 2022, and you traveled. Where did you travel to?
New York.
And how long were you there, sir?
2 nights.
And who took care of the kids?
Lindsay.
Sorry?
Lindsay took care of the kids.
Lindsay. So for 2 days, 2 nights, a month and a week or so before she killed the children, she was home with the kids for 2 days. Is that right?
Right.
Fair to say that you also had your friends that you would do brunch with on occasion, Sundays or weeknights or whenever, guys night type thing?
Yeah.
And you'd be out with your friends. If she wanted to kill the kids, she certainly could have done it that time when you're out, right?
In theory.
As opposed to sending you on a 3-minute trip to CVS and a 9-minute trip to a restaurant. You were away for 2 days in November and on a number of occasions for brunch as well as skiing, right? You're a pretty active guy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to approach you, sir, and another one of the books that was in the kitchen cabinet, I believe.
Hey, folks, let's stay classy here. Let's not resort to calling each other names. And if you guys have a different opinion on whether she's guilty or not, whether she was legally insane from criminal responsibility or not, let's just be civil, please.
Remember, you want to sign this one?
I don't think so.
But is it fair to say, sir, that she had enough?
I have both civil suits that were filed, so I'll show that here in a little bit.
Number of books, about parenting and things like that. And this one here was pregnancy and postpartum anxiety workbook. Did she have workbooks that you were aware of, or work diagrams and things like that?
She had books of different sorts.
So you can't identify this as being in the kitchen, right?
I don't recall seeing that book. No.
That might
No.
be anxiety.
Sure.
Identification.
Thank you. By the way, I'll withdraw that. I'm going to approach you, sir, with this document. Excuse me, and ask if you can identify it.
It says postpartum depression and anxiety patient information sheet.
And if you go towards the end there, does it appear to be her writing in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cut off this one.
No
All
objection.
right, that may be admitted.
Good, A1.
Yeah, let me see. Sir, looking at this item, it's got a bunch of flowers on the front. Appears to be a notebook. It's your understanding that the state police went in your house and they seized all sorts of items such as this?
Yep.
But we don't have originals that the police do, but these are
Right.
copies. Fair and accurate?
Yeah.
Is that the caption that you were referring to?
Yes.
Postpartum depression and anxiety.
Yes.
And at the end of this particular document, you would agree, sir, that it has writing?
Yeah.
And whose writing is that?
Lindsay's.
And is this like a book or notes that she would take documenting on a daily basis any effect that she had from postpartum?
It appears to be the case.
Yeah. Your Honor, I would offer the records of Dr. Jennifer Tufts, Astor Mental Health Records.
No
Oh,
objection.
all right, they may be admitted.
I'm going to have to, I think, maybe talk to the DA about this because I do have a lot of tabs and notes in this one. I know we have this clean copies, right?
We have a clean copy we're planning to admit,
All right,
so that's
good,
not a problem.
okay.
So we'll enter that, and then before we can then.
Yeah, this is not the best witness to admit the medical records of his wife, but that's decent of the prosecution to let this be admitted.
And substitute it with a clean copy.
Thank you.
Exhibit H for identification.
John, can I see the exhibit? One of the things that you had identified yesterday was the document that you obtained from CVS, is that correct?
Yes.
It sets forth all of the medications that were purchased by Lindsay by prescription from the physicians that she had seen during that period of time, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated yesterday that the police had seized a number of pill bottles, and then you also had a number of pill bottles, is that right?
Right.
And the pill bottles that you had, do you recall, what were the circumstances that you had them in a bag in your car?
The reason I had them in a bag is because sometimes a provider would adjust medications. So, for example, I do remember Lindsay had a prescription of Ativan, and then a few days later, they wanted to increase the dosage because it wasn't effective. So what they would do is they would say, give that old prescription to your husband, he'll discard it, and then continue taking from the new prescription.
When the DA yesterday went through that there were scripts and there were pills on the 30 count, but then there's 27 and 3 were gone, but that's because she wasn't taking her medication. That's not the case. It's what you were told to do, right?
Correct. Yeah. Without that context, it paints a different picture.
Exhibit.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point. The prosecution is looking bad because they're not clarifying when they brought out the meds how much left was in each bottle. Well, because she moved on to a larger dosage, and so she would not use the initial bottle or intermittent bottles that were increasing the dosage. So that's a big point because the prosecution made it look like she was pretty much given a bunch of meds, but for the most part wasn't even taking any of them.
2 would be the pills that you had turned in, I believe. Is that correct? That were in your bag, in your car?
Right.
I know you can't tell them looking at the bag.
I remember it's Exhibit 2, though.
Okay. Wednesday, January 24th, one of the troopers located 4 medication bottles, and at some point on the 26th, at about 2:30 in the afternoon, bottles were then documented by the police. When was it, if you know, that you turned these items in to the police?
I believe it was after the event. I don't remember the exact date, but I remember I told them I do have other prescriptions in my truck still, and I gave them to him.
Okay. So the police already went in with a search warrant. They already seized all the drugs that they could find in the house, in the kitchen, in the bedroom. Were there drugs in the kitchen, by the way?
Yeah.
They're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And they seized them, right?
Yeah.
And then you, to be cooperative, told the police that you also had pills in your car, and you went to the DA's office and gave them to Attorney Sprague and the state police, right?
Right. But to be clear, those were discontinued prescriptions.
These are the ones like that she stopped.
Correct.
All right. And then you had new prescriptions, so there were new prescriptions that were prescribed to her, right?
Yes.
Now, when I met with you in the house, long after the state police had gone and finished their search,
Yep.
You recall that we went up to the bedroom and I removed this from the nightstand right next to the bed.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that is? What is this? Is it a drawer? Obviously.
That's the drawer that goes into the nightstand.
And inside the drawer, sir, do you recall that there were a number of items that, let's see, Tragico, Lindsay Clancy, prescribed on January 5, 23. Creatinine, January. Creatinine, 100 milligrams, prescribed for Lindsay Clancy, December 21st. Lorazepam, you're all empty too, right?
Yeah.
These are what she shot down with that lemonade or water or whatever was in the cup that she ground up these pills, right? Lamotrigine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, December 16th, 22. Mirtazapine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, January 23. Those are in this drawer, and they were all empty, right?
Right.
You observed that, right? There's something else that was in the drawer. Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's her Apple Watch.
Her Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch that apparently the police used to go up the stairs, downstairs, heart rate, things of that nature, right?
Yep.
They never even seized it, did they? They left it in the drawer, right?
Apparently.
So, what is this item, sir? If you can identify that for us.
It's a face mask for sleeping.
To sleep?
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned something, I think, about pillow spray. What is that?
She bought some pillow spray. It apparently helps you sleep.
And did you see her using that on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, she did.
I would offer. Rob?
I could just see,
Yeah,
I think you.
and I think there's a watch on the side there.
No objection.
Okay, good. Do you want you want to put that in as one exhibit?
Sure.
Okay.
82.
In reference to the Apple Watch, sir, how many Apple Watches did she have? If you
Just
know?
one.
Just one. It's the only one she had. Police never seized it, right?
Correct.
And the drugs that were in the drawer, the empty drugs and the pill bottles from January, December, 22, 23, the police never seized them, did they?
No.
I'm showing you an item, sir. It's like a little green vase. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah.
Can you tell the jury what it is?
Objection. We could go to second.
Yeah, can I see Council Sidebar, please?
Okay, jump ahead. Getting towards the end here.
Was she advised? To your knowledge, sir, was she advised by nurse practitioner Tufts to keep a nighttime dump diary of all of her thoughts and write them down so that she had something that she could refer to?
Not that I'm aware of.
You ever see her writing notes in a diary or like a thing with dates on it, November 23rd, for example, things of that nature?
I knew she kept notes, but I didn't see her doing it.
I'm going to show you this document. I asked, that appears to be her handwriting.
Yeah.
And does that contain indication as to her state of mind, particular date or dates thereafter?
Yeah.
Just take a look at the other page. Make sure it's well. Okay, right?
Yeah.
You want to write off of this?
Kamal?
Can I see it, please?
And I got it from the state police, so it's assume you guys have it.
No objection.
Okay, that may be admitted.
Page 3.
I'm going to show you another document, sir. It appears to be a document. Do you recognize her handwriting? That document with dates, September 29th, for example, 22.
Yes.
And does that appear to, can you tell us what that appears to be, sir, if you know?
Looks like a schedule for Callan.
And the schedule for Callan, that would be, what, like when he's eating or sleeping or something like that?
Yeah, naps. Yeah.
So for example, where it says September 29th, there it is, 22, and then it makes reference to Callan, last fed with the time frame, and then there's a bunch of pages like that go forward on those dates. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Put him down for a nap, 9:35 with a smiley face, things like that, right?
Right.
Is this typical for Lindsay that she would document these things as a new mother?
Yeah.
Was she being controlling, in your opinion, of her child and of you by doing this schedule?
No, I found it helpful.
Because I don't think there's
Any objection?
No
All
objection.
right, that may be admitted.
One of the things, sir, that the district attorney had asked you about is the exhibits of the, I think it was the window in the bedroom. You said it was 20 feet drop to the ground.
Right.
Is that right? This is a photograph of the same one you already introduced, but I just don't know where it is. So this is the photograph of the house. You can identify that, right?
Yeah, that's the living room window.
Okay. And the window that you're talking about that's 20 feet up would be on the very top of that picture, correct?
Correct.
Um, Now, when you identified this picture, I can't see. You see that there's some kind of an orange ball, appears to be an orange ball underneath the sill
Yeah.
to the left. It appears to be red marks or red spots, like possibly blood above it.
Yep.
Can you tell the jurors what that little orange ball is?
Yeah, we had a woodpecker who would peck at the house and create holes. That's why I prepared some of the other sections too. And I took some foam and filled the hole.
I'd offer that, Your Honor, just
No
All
objection.
right, that may be admitted.
and that also, if I may, just the top picture, I believe is also, see where it looks like fingerprints or blood on the edge of the window on the second floor. You see that? That's from the house.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Attorney Brennan.
Okay, so, okay, I'm talking about the Hornet thing right here. And then this is, I see on this top here. Okay, so you see on the top of this window here. It's not a very good picture. Underneath the Hornet thing, you see it, but in the exhibit, you can see there's like blood drops or blood smears there.
Yep, I
That's
see it.
the first floor window that's directly underneath the second floor window, right?
Right.
Okay. I'd offer these, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No.
They may be admitted.
5 and 6.
I'm all set. Thank you, sir.
All right, so that's it. That's it for the cross-examination. Yeah, just gut reaction is it's not the kind of detail I would have liked to seen. I think he brought a lot of great points. Just more of like the day in the life of what it was like for her. Summarize a day, summarize what like the worst day was like in September, October, November, December, January. It's something like that. So let me show you here. I also would have looked at the lawsuits, civil lawsuits, if I was defense attorney on this case, and looked to see what kind of allegations were alleged. There's a lawsuit filed by Patrick, and there's a separate one filed by Lindsay. So stand by here. In a second. All right, so here's Lindsay's loading right now. Okay, here we have Lindsay's complaint. So you can see she's suing Dr. Tufts, Dr. Goodhart, another Dr. Diaz, Rebecca Gelada, a nurse practitioner. She's suing the different institutions from Astor Medical to South Shore McLean Hospital, and then that Rhode Island Women and Infants Hospital we heard about. And so what they're saying is this action arises from a catastrophic failure of multiple medical providers to properly diagnose, treat, and monitor Lindsay's severe postpartum psychiatric condition, despite her repeated desperate pleas for help and her family's persistent efforts to obtain adequate care. They're saying here she did everything a mother could do in her situation could do. She recognized something was wrong with her. She sought medical treatment, went to emergency rooms, called crisis hotlines, admitted herself to hospitals, took meds prescribed to her. She could communicate her worsening symptoms to her providers. She told them the medication was making her worse. Her husband advocated for her. Her family drove from out of state to help with her care, and still the medical system failed her completely. So some of the things I would like to see him draw out from Patrick is like more details about what kind of mom she was and how things started changing. What kind of mother was she doing? How did this mental status of hers change over time? How did she change as a mother during this time? Just a lot more details. And his memory's not the greatest either, but that's why I think some of these things could be developed, and some of them will be developed through other witnesses by the defense. But it says here Lindsay's clinical course was significantly complicated by polypharmacy and the involvement of multiple prescribers, which in effect obscured an accurate diagnosis and appropriate intervention and treatment, even though Lindsay did all she could to obtain the appropriate treatment. The psychotropic medications Lindsay received appeared to have been paradoxically exacerbated by the underlying psychiatric vulnerability, precipitating a state of manic psychosis characterized by compelling command hallucinations. The tragedy that follows the direct and proximate result of the defendant's collective negligence in failing to recognize the obvious symptoms, obvious warning signs, coordinate care, and properly diagnose Lindsay's condition and provide the treatment that met this applicable standard of care. Now she's lost her 3 children, permanent paralysis, psychological trauma, unbearable grief of waking up every day knowing that she killed her children, all which could have been prevented if the defendants provided competent medical care. So here you find some more of the background of the folks she saw. We already heard how she was an RN at Mass General, mother of Corey, Dawson, and Callan. Defendant Jennifer Tufts, MD, out of the Braintree business. Aaliyah Goodhart, also psychiatrist at McLean Hospital. She's the one that discharged her on January 5 following Lindsay's 5-day inpatient admission. I've seen that before too. I've mentioned that on the channel. There's once I know a case where a guy went to the ER, says, "Hey, look, I'm having these intrusive thoughts where I got to kill my wife," and they released him a few hours later, and he went and killed his wife when he got home. So, and that attending physician psychiatrist had a lawyer with him all the time during depositions and trial. Excuse me, that wasn't a trial. That got settled out of court, as I recall. But yeah, I'm sure all these lawyers, when they are called to testify, even though they're prosecution witnesses, these listed here, I think will be prosecution witnesses, they will have their own lawyers in the courtroom watching this. Just like we saw with the McAlberts in the Karen Reed trial. They had their lawyers there when they testified. All right, jurisdiction venue, we need to cover that. Facts. We already heard some about academic excellence, passion about nursing, and dedication to patients. We'll probably hear more about that later on. So I just think Patrick didn't develop a whole lot of her personality through the questioning. See, like here's Lindsay's sister, Allison Olga. Describe Lindsay as the kind of person who deeply cares for people she loves. She shows up for celebrations and writes handwritten notes to show her love and appreciation. And also in times of need, she just finds the right words to provide comfort and support. They describe more of the kind of stuff that I thought they would have brought out at trial, how she was after the first pregnancy, postpartum of the second child, Dawson. And Patrick had described that she had manic behavior for multiple days. In postpartum there, and in October 20, she had an episode of decluttering to simplify her life, obsessively cleaning and discarding items. After the second pregnancy, anxiety emerged at approximately 2 months postpartum. She declined Zoloft because she was breastfeeding. Those prior postpartum episodes included hypomaniac symptoms followed by Dawson's birth were critical indicators that should have alerted competent psychiatric providers to the risk of bipolar disorder and the potential use for more severe postpartum psychiatric complications following subsequent pregnancies. Then the youngest, Callan, was given birth on May of 22. She demonstrated significant activation of hypomaniac behavior, including an extensive program of exercise beginning only 1 week after delivery. She ran 3 miles, woke up every day before the children at 4 a.m., ran 3 miles, did spinning for 30 minutes on the Peloton, and then 30 minutes of aerobics. Then July 4th, only 5 weeks after delivery, she ran a 5-mile course. Yeah, that's, rather than just being fit, that shows something way off mentally. Then she got obsessed with having a beach body and joined a multi-level marketing scheme. Posted videos on the Facebook encouraging friends to join. Again, they're talking about bipolar disorder. Talks more about her efforts to seek help. Approximately 12 weeks postpartum, Lindsay's mood switched suddenly to anxiety and depression, experiencing debilitating anxiety, insomnia, sleeping only approximately 3 hours a night, exhaustion during the day, no motivation, couldn't exercise, chore just a shower or dress. You know, those kind of things, we didn't hear about that through cross-examination. You know, like she was saying she was scared to go to the hospital in Rhode Island. That could have been elaborated on. Patrick attended an appointment with Lindsay and Nurse Gelada. Patrick connected Lindsay's suicidal thoughts to Seroquel. Hello. He told Nurse Gelada that Lindsay is 10,000 times worse since she's taken the medication. Wow, that'd be something that would be nice to brought out on cross and ask if they could get Lindsay off the medication and start from scratch, see what's going on. I mean, that sounds like a reasonable request. Yes, there could have been some mistake, like using wrong meds. The nurse acknowledged it's possible. Despite this, you can continue to increase the Seroquel to 400 milligrams per day. Still had suicidal ideation December 13th, wanted this all to be over. Patrick called nurse to report that Lindsay has a devastating week. It was the worst day. She had horrible thoughts all day, auditory solutions all day, every day. Auditory hallucinations. I mean, this is serious things to bring out. I hope he doesn't fit. Doesn't forget to bring it out through other witnesses then. It would have been nice to bring it out through Patrick. Couldn't get out of bed. Hallucinations were loud and continued all day saying, I'll never be the same. I'll never be me again. And you are damaged. You'll never be the same. The only option is to die. So that's what she was being told in her mind. She told her husband, I have thoughts of harming kids. We did hear that. Because she was in a psychotic state, also had paranoid delusion that people could hear her thoughts that she'd be locked in a hospital and have her children taken away. Escalating suicidal thoughts prompted them. So this sort of lays out the roadmap of more of what she was going through. And that's the kind of questioning I was looking forward to hearing. And they talk about the Women's Infants Hospital, Dr. Diaz's failure to properly treat Lindsay. That's, I guess, one of the doctors, when they asked the doctor's name of who treated her down there, Patrick didn't know, but apparently this Diaz is one of them. Her postnatal depression scale was 23, indicating severe depression. Her generalized anxiety was 21, higher than the threshold for the most severe category. Because of these severely elevated scores, Diaz, a attending physician, concluded Lindsay had no postpartum depression and rejected a bipolar disorder diagnosis because no history of hypomania or psychosis or family history. This conclusion was negligent because he failed to obtain adequate history. His own notes document Lindsay's sister had experienced postpartum anxiety, a relevant family psychiatric history that should have been explored. Wow. Failed to recognize that other providers had previously considered bipolar disorder as documented in their records, saying that she was starting on Seroquel and a concern for bipolar. Dr. Diaz accepted Lindsay and Patrick's belief that her symptoms were due to overmedication and recommended weaning Seroquel. The clinical team there said that her symptoms were more pharmacologically induced than pure depressive. That's interesting. Yeah, so the drugs made it way worse. So basically, they're saying they're negligent in how they treated her. Say the same thing about McLean. And they talk about McLean, how horrible that was. New Year's Eve, skeleton crew during COVID as well. Emitting symptoms, including suicide ideation, feeling detached, hopelessness, depression, no appetite or energy to perform activities. I mean, I don't recall them bringing out in cross-examination that she was in bed all day, couldn't get out of bed, didn't even want to shower. And this paints a whole different picture, I think, that defense better bring this info out, assuming this information is accurate. In a locked unit with 15-minute suicide checks. This advised her in January to stop taking Seroquel and benzos. I remember they mentioned that they brought out that she was given Ativan to switch off benzos. Well, Ativan is another type of a benzo, I believe. So that oftentimes is done. They'll switch from a longer acting to a shorter acting or vice versa to try to get somebody to taper off these very physiologically addictive drugs. I hear they mentioned that Lindsay's psychiatric condition was deteriorating under Dr. Tuff's care. Dr. Tufts met with Lindsay for only 17 minutes back in the January timeframe, January 6th. She was not herself. She smiled but could not converse. She avoided talking, could not make sense of what others were saying. I go, gosh, Patrick would have been the perfect one to bring that out. But hopefully they'll bring that out through others. Oh, here, switch to Valium for a benzodiazepine taper. Well, Valium is a benzo. A longer acting class stays in your system longer. Xanax is the quickest acting one, gets out of your blood system the quickest. Debilitating depression. We never heard that through the defense. Had to force herself to do anything. Hallucinations continued back in January 16th. Could harm the. You should harm the children. You should kill yourself. You'll never be the same. She felt like a zombie. And then she prescribes another antidepressant. My gosh, what the heck is going on? It looks like, from my experience with these psych meds, it looks like she was really set up in a bad situation here. She researched what's a psychopath. She's wondering if she's a psychopath. January 20th. January 23rd, another 17-minute appointment. 17 minutes? How's that competent representation to help somebody? So she's a little bit more nervous, heart racing, more morning anxiety. Mood is the same, flat, anxious. She had no motivation, numb, forced herself up out of the house. Her sleep and medication efficacy were poor. Her insight was poor, and her psychiatric condition was generally unchanged. Increased the amitriptyline to 20 mgs per day. That night, she did not sleep at all. 24th, woke up severely depressed, suicidal thoughts, gave her children breakfast, took Cora to the pediatrician because Cora complained of a stomach ache. Later, she went to the backyard with children, built a snowman, sent a picture to Patrick and her mother. The suicidal hallucinations continued all day nonstop. Later in the afternoon, the voice began saying, "You should harm the children." This is just like demonic stuff here. These pills can be like portals to demons or something. I mean, this sounds like horror, absolute horror. Is it possible the medication had nothing to do with this? Doesn't look like it. As soon as Packer left to pick up the food, there was a loud, demanding, repetitious voice. "This is your last chance. Kill the children so you can kill yourself." Wow. She felt the force overcome her. Yeah, it's like that's not herself. Command auditory hallucinations. Demanding, powerful male voice explicitly ordered her. She felt an overwhelming, irresistible compulsion to comply, entered in a dissociative, dreamlike state where her physical actions felt utterly disconnected to her conscious volition. That sounds like stuff that's very, very common with people on a lot of psych meds. And then you got psychosis on top of it. And then so they talk about Dr. Margaret Spinelli from Columbia U, diagnosed with bipolar, worsened when she was prescribed an antidepressant after her second childbirth. She noted that antidepressant medication can create manic or hypomaniac symptoms and mood instability in one who has bipolar illness. It's well known response for a person with underlying bipolar. The doctor noted that none of the providers seemed to communicate with one another. No one ever asked to describe the content of her intrusive thoughts, which were in fact hallucinations, and that she was repeatedly given antidepressants instead of a mood stabilizer. Anyway, she said she did all she could to obtain appropriate treatment. So there you go. That's going to be their defense. All right, with that, let's look at Patrick's. I'm going to go over Patrick's much quicker. A lot of clicks to get there. Here we go. It's loading right now. All right, so here he is suing as individually and as personal representative of the estates of the three children. So again, he's suing the same people, some of the same people, not all of them. During her shifts, Lindsay remained attentive to her children and was known to monitor Cora and Dawson on the baby monitors while they slept. Her career remained important to her. She remained passionate about nursing. Having a career also allowed her a chance to get out of the house and interact with people. Lindsay told Patrick how happy she was. She was excited about their new baby, loved the new baby. So Patrick's return to work and her impending return to work after they took leave for childbirth. Let's see here. So then they have all the dates are in here. I know you just think that the prosecution and the defense. Well, the prosecution had better access to Patrick than the defense. We don't know if the defense had any access to him before they cross-examined him, but disconnected, feeling disconnected out of it today, feeling a bit spacey. Physically dependent on benzos in order to sleep. Her mind is constantly running, feeling afraid of something awful might happen. Another prescription is Seroquel for the first time. Negative impact. They said she had an addiction to Ativan, which is why she can't sleep. She reported weight loss, loss of appetite, panic attacks, and feeling of numbness. They also described additional medication, Lindsay diazepam. I mean, this is to me, from what I understand, very, very, very high risk stuff to give somebody both of these drugs, especially if they're bipolar and severely depressed. Started having passive suicidal ideation. Immediately start after taking the Seroquel. That was in November of 30. She had palpitations, severe depression, numbness. Her life was becoming a disaster. Could not feel fear. Which word she had messed up beyond repair. Again, they're talking about overmedication and misdiagnosis. So anyway, I won't go into more of those pages here. So apparently the petition for Lindsay is more detailed about her conditions. And I think that's probably because they did more of a background check. And some of these same witnesses, I think, will come forward. One of you all had a question. Yeah, he is on the witness list for the defense. Maybe they'll get more into that then. But the nice thing if they would have brought that out now is that you can lead all you want. To try to trigger his memory. Yeah, Sue, you're saying the defense will get into this with the experts. Yeah, but the experts, where are they getting their information from? They're getting information from Lindsay, but also if he's there in the house to corroborate a lot of this, hopefully they'll bring him back for more detail. Because stuff coming from Lindsay is more subject to being contrived, whereas Patrick, he's a more reliable source. He doesn't have as much motive. If there's a motive to fabricate allegation by the prosecution. So just to compare the two complaints, I want to see if there's any highlights other than what I've mentioned so far. Got in Lindsay's complaint gets into more details about the day in question, how she ingested a substantial quantity of various medications. At McLean Hospital, she did not see a doctor until January 3rd. So anyway, that's what we have for the main points on my analysis for the cross examination. Want to see if there's any last questions here. LMR, some of the jurors crying after the 911 call. It was tough for everyone. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, as horrible as it is to listen to, and I have not listened to it obviously, but what the jury picked up on and what this poor Patrick had to go through, it just makes it look the more vicious and horrific this is by Lindsay, the more I think that it just seems like she wouldn't be the type of person to do something like this if she wasn't insane. So I think it can actually help the defense. There are some people, like I saw somebody in the chat here saying how, this is horrible, killing 3 little babies or young kids like that is you deserve prison time and all that. But this is an issue about the mental state of mind of Lindsay. This is a insanity defense that they're raising here. The two you're asking, well, do I think Lindsay will testify or would it be beneficial for her to do so? Your thoughts? I think she absolutely has to testify. If I was representing her, she would have to testify and explain what was going through her mind. They gotta, you got to get the jury to feel some kind of compassion for her. And if she, I guess it depends on how much med she's on. Is she going to come across cold and callous, or she can't really cry much or articulate much? I don't know, but I think I would definitely be of the mindset that you need to explain yourself here, okay? Otherwise, for sure, this vicious, cruel thing that you did. But if she has a fuzzy memory, she can't explain a lot of the details. Like Patrick was sort of fuzzy on a lot of stuff and details, and maybe they won't do it, but that'd be what I'd be leaning towards. But like I say, there's other issues that could make me go, well, it's too risky to put her on. So it's probably a game time decision on when she's their last witness. Is she going to get on the stand or not? One of the things also, let me say this, the prosecution had not, the defense had not brought up anything about is Lindsay selfish? Was she selfish towards the kids? Was she only worried about herself? And the other thing the prosecution said is she was controlling. So because she's so controlling and selfish, that's why she did this. Well, what's a beneficial motive to doing so, right? Because think about it. If she knows she's automatically going to be arrested for this, isn't that partly psychotic in and of itself? Because you're not going to get away with it, right? Think about the other murder cases we follow. The people think they're going to get away with it. There's no way she could have gotten away with this. She thought she was going to end it for herself by killing herself. So somebody wants to kill themselves, I think that's automatically they're severely mentally not in the right frame of mind. So that's why I think it's tough for the prosecution. I think the prosecution has the burden to show that she was not suffering from some kind of mental disorder. I covered that 2 nights ago. So if you want to go back and look at the end of that, I covered the jury instructions for that. So yeah, there's no beneficial motive here whatsoever. So she had those intrusive thoughts in her mind. This wasn't her. This wasn't her, I don't think, is what they're going to present to the jury. So I don't see her getting convicted for this. I think at best the prosecution has is a hung jury. I think emotions will be really strong based on what those poor kids had to suffer. So let me think, is it more likely to be not guilty by reason of insanity or a hung jury? I'm on the fence about that. Let me see how the evidence plays out. I don't want to make a premature opinion. So, all right, folks, that's it for tonight. Y'all take care and plan to be back tomorrow night covering whatever happens tomorrow. So until then, be safe. So take care. Good night.